Hello, Civilisation. I've missed you. Yes, after 5.5 years of living in the French countryside, I'm back, baby. I'm back in the big city of Dubai, a place I called my home for 20 years, and then I wouldn't say I made the mistake, but I made the choice of moving to France. What a fantastic property we have there. But unfortunately, I was so lonely and so isolated. I wasn't prepared for any of that. And living in France brought me to my knees, quite literally. And it also broke my husband at one point. And to see a broken man that you love, it's one of the most painful things I've ever had to witness. And it was time. We had to leave, and we got a great opportunity last year. My husband found a job. He moved to Dubai. He spent the last 6 months settling in again, getting the apartment, finding somewhere to live and furnishing it and doing all of that so that I could come and reap the rewards of his hard work of setting up a beautiful home for us here in Dubai. I should have realised, when I always wanted to escape to the city. I always wanted to jump on a train and go to Paris or go to one of the perfume expos that they have in Milan or Grasse or Florence, which I've been to in the last couple of years. Now, I don't have any regrets because I've learnt an awful lot about life in France, and I've had incredible opportunities to collect over 1,200 perfume bottles, most of them vintage and rare, highly collectible items. And my husband built me a scent studio there. I met incredible friends. 2 of them will be absolutely like lifelong friends, especially one of them. She's like my sister from another mister. And I am still obviously very much in touch with her. And I think she's planning her trip already to come to see me in Dubai. In fact, before I'd even got here, when I was on my way via Frankfurt, she was already looking up flights. I can't wait to see her. She's incredible. I call her Monica because she cleans like Monica from Friends, and she calls me Rachel, although I think I'm a bit more like Phoebe. So I'm back in the sandpit. I feel more connected. Just in the last few days, I've not even been here a week yet, and I feel more connected now than I have been in the last 5.5 years in France. It's difficult. I'm going to do a whole podcast about life in France, and if you want to survive it, these are some of my tips. But the vide grenier, which is the flea markets, the brocants, everything that I got to witness, the countryside is incredible. When the weather's good, the weather is spectacular with not a cloud in the sky and turquoise sky. Is just beautiful. And I had a wonderful time at times, but the cons far outweighed the pros for living there. So this is just a very quick podcast to tell you that I'm back in Dubai. There's going to be a lot I'm going to be planning to do. You see, the thing is, when you get depressed in a country like France and you live in the countryside and you're often living without your husband, because at one point he was working in the UK for 14 months and then he came to Dubai, and I literally didn't see him for 6 months at all. We didn't visit each other, didn't even do video calls. I think he didn't want to do a video call because he preferred the WhatsApp messages, voice messages that you can do on WhatsApp. And I think he liked that because I couldn't interrupt him when he was talking. But yeah, I've felt very disconnected. If it wasn't for, my friend in France, I don't think I would have survived it at all. But I'm back. I'm here. I'm willing to get my feet back on the ground and get running and start doing podcasts again, start doing more videos. If you wondered what has happened, it's like I fell off the face of the earth. I've had no social media presence of late. I've not been posting anything on any of my channels. I've not been doing any podcasts probably for like a year now. My newsletters are so sporadic. I might send out one every 6 months. So I'm going to start the newsletters again. I think once a week is too much for a newsletter because I get bothered when people keep sending me newsletters every week. I'm like, oh my God, get lost. And then I end up unsubscribing. So I'm going to do them either every 2 weeks, if you've got any input on when you would like to receive a newsletter from me. Maybe it just might be a newsletter once a month with a lot of things that I've been doing and things that you can catch up on, like perhaps new videos that I've got on YouTube, a new book that I might be working on, new projects, places that I've visited in Dubai, anything to do with fragrance. So I'm going to be doing all of that. I've not set a schedule for the newsletters yet, and I've not set a schedule for the podcast. I was doing podcasts once a week. Again, I found doing them once a week, it was a little bit too much because I like to be really in depth and give a lot of details when it comes to my podcast. So I might do, if you've got any input, please let me know what you would like. I'm not quite sure I want to do an hour podcast, but I was thinking of maybe doing one that might be 45 minutes long and then maybe doing another one. So doing alternate weeks, doing a long form podcast and then doing a short form podcast, which is perhaps fascinating fragrant facts or 5-minute tips about fragrance that you might want to know, whether it's about perfume launches, what's going on in the industry, or perfume making tips. And also, it's not just about fragrance, it's about feel-good fragrance. And my background was, when I started studying holistic therapy back in 97, some of you listening to this won't even have been born then. And I was a holistic therapist. I got a diploma, and obviously one of the subjects in holistic therapy is aromatherapy. And I started creating feel-good fragrances using as little as 3 oils, sometimes in aromatherapy blends. And that's when I started creating feel-good fragrances. So I'm going to be giving tips about that as well, and tips for aromatherapy blends that you can do. It might be for energizing, studying, focusing, perhaps relaxing, all that kind of wonderful stuff. It was when I got my massage, my first aromatherapy massage by one of my fellow students in 97, that I realized the power of essential oil. So I'm going to be sharing that knowledge with you in my podcasts. So stay tuned. They're going to be going up on all of the regular channels like YouTube, Spotify. What's the one for iPhones? Because I have a Samsung, so I don't know. Is it Apple podcasts? So and other channels as well. So any input, I'd love to hear from you. Any subjects in my podcasts or newsletters that you would like me to focus on. And also, I'm going to be really growing my YouTube channel now. As you can imagine, in Dubai, it is really the world of fragrance over here, and so many incredible perfume shops and so many beautiful traditions that the Emiratis have, and I'm going to be sharing those with you. I have a friend who's married to an Emirati, and I'll be getting some tips from them about the Arabian traditions of how they use fragrance in their everyday lives and for special occasions, and sharing all of that with you. So this is it. This is just going to be a 10-minute little chat now, and just to tell you that I'm back in the sandpit, and I couldn't be happier, and I can't wait to share loads of things with you. And if you've got any subjects that you want me to cover, perhaps on my YouTube channel, it might be about some of the fragrance expos that I've been to in Milan and Florence. I will post some of my many videos and pictures from those places. One is called Essence and another one is called Fragrance. That's the one in Florence. Essence is in Milan. The Milan one is crazy. There's probably about 2,000 vendors, and when you go to the Florence one, there's like about 200. There was 215 when I was there, and a lot of the vendors actually prefer that, and a lot of visitors prefer that because it's more low-key, but it's harder to get in. So I actually have a podcast already talking about my experience in Milan, so go and check that out if you want to know about some of the perfume expos. Let me know what you would like me to share on my YouTube channel, on my podcast, and in my newsletters. Any tips and tricks that you want to learn from me and my, goodness me, 28 years of experience. That does not make me feel old at all. But I'm a child at heart, always have been, always will be. I'm the most immature person I think a lot of my friends have ever met. Keeps you young at heart, doesn't it? So I would like to welcome you back to my podcast. I hope you're going to enjoy what I've got coming up for you. Oh, by the way, I'm going to leave you with this. I'm going to virtually give you a sprig of lily of the valley today on the 1st of May, because it's a French tradition for you to give a sprig of lily of the valley, fresh lily of the valley, to a friend to wish them prosperity and good fortune for the rest of the year. So I'm giving that to you now virtually. One of the beautiful things that I learned in France. It wasn't a wasted experience. It was an experience for sure, but it was one that I will treasure, and now I just see this as another step in my future, another adventure. So let the games begin. Tune in to me, Melanie Jane, here at Scentcast for more inspiring podcasts about all things fragrance.